Hey guys, welcome back to Cheney's TCG store. Today I have another market watch for you. We're going to take a look at some of the Crystal Beast cards and as well as some sets that are getting a little bit older now and just some cards to keep your eye on. And some other cards that are really low in price right now as well, and some cards that are up in price. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you're a new viewer, thanks for tuning in. But first, let's go over the Crystal Beast cards. So we're not going to click into every card because that's going to take forever. But just know that a lot of these are bought out, so the first edition are going to be ridiculous. But Crystal Beast, Sapphire, Pegasus, Ultimate Rare, lightly played here, starting out at $97 for unlimited. There's only 24 listings, so I imagine the first editions are going to be fairly expensive, probably pushing 200 plus. This is not showing up because I put light play near mint, but these are going for $100 for a display. I would stay away from these unless they've got really good cards in it. They might actually have decent cards in them, like staples, not like the actual. I don't care about Crystal Beast, but they might have decent staples in there. So I need to check and see what's actually in there because that really is going to make the difference. If you're getting like an Ash Blossom or something, that really helps boost the set. Crystal Beast, Topaz Tiger, starting off at 70 here for light play unlimited, really low on listings as well. I do think this one looks really, really good, but not worth it in my opinion. Not at these prices. You would rather wait until the structure deck comes out and the deck doesn't do anything, and then the prices start coming back down. Probably won't go as low as it was before, but these Force of the Breaker Ultimate Rare Crystal Beast cards kind of always been like a collector favorite. So they've never been like dirt cheap per se. Ruby Carbuncle for parallel rare here, $28. Well, 22 for light play, and then going up 28. Again, stay away from it. We're gonna get reprints of all these cards, I guarantee you. Like when we get the Battles of Legend, or even in the structure deck. Sapphire Pegasus from the collector tins is $9 here for light play. That's not bad, but to be honest with you, I think there's a better version to get for this price point. You can get the one that just came out in the Speed Duel set, which would be GX, and I think GX Academy box is what it's called. And the secret rare is like $2 or $3. It's brand new. It's going to be mint, and I really like the Speed Duel secret rares, to be honest with you. So unless you're a collector, I would stay away from this. But if you are a collector, I just don't know why you'd go with the collector tin anyways. Like it looks fine. I used to have a couple of these, but I sold them. But yeah, it's just not the best version to buy if you're wanting to play like a good looking Crystal Beast deck. And just keep in mind, this deck is not going to be competitive per se. I think people will probably try to make it work. And, it might be fun to play casually with your friends if you're playing, just casual decks, but it's not going to do anything. It's like, I guess I'll compare it to this when people are asking, do you think the support will help the deck, be better? Or make it competitive, and I would compare it to putting a cherry on a pile of crap. It's just, there's just not really good bones to this deck. Like it just doesn't do anything. And so that's kind of the problem. If you take a deck like, trying to think of a deck, let's say Inzektor, because that was, it was once competitive at one point. And it's an okay deck. They gave it the new, I think it's the Inzektor Cow, which really boosted the deck and helped it become, it's a rogue deck. It is competitive somewhat, but it's still casual at the same time. It's not going to take it to a tier 2 or tier 1 status, the support that it's gotten. And that the main reason for that is because you can't go second, and that deck, does really well going second with your Hornet. But still, that deck is far better than Crystal Beast could ever hope to be. But there's just not a lot here with Crystal Beast. These super rares from Raw Yellow Mega Pack, Ruby Carbuncle, stay away from it. Force of the Breaker, Sapphire Pegasus. There's one here for $350. That's not bad for a first edition. If I was going to go for a version of this card that's old, I would just get the original print ultra rare over the collector tin secret rare, because to me that is the better version to get out of the two. Obviously, the ultimate rare is nice, but again, I think it's a little bit high in price. Will it come down? Hard telling, honestly, because I think they look really good. I think people that are buying them are going to have a hard time letting go of them, unless they're just competitive players, making a gamble. But I can promise you it won't be competitive. Sapphire Pegasus, dual terminal common, 125. This is actually, I didn't even know that it had a dual terminal common, but that would be a cool version to have too for dirt cheap, honestly. And there's only 37 listings. Super rare here, not bad. Again, for first edition, $2. But I think if you aren't going to go for like the ultra rare, and obviously I would stay away from the ultimate rare for now, I would go with the secret rare from Speed Duel GX. It's $2.15, up to 250 here. It looks really, really good. I just really like the Speed Duel secret rares. I think they're really clean and they're sturdy. It's going to be really hard to, damage these while you're playing them. And they just feel like really good quality. They've almost got like a plastic feel to them, or like, what do you call it when you put plastic? Like I want to say lament, but that's definitely not it. It's, what is it called? Moving on, I don't care. I'm not going to spend time thinking about it. I remember my school teachers used to do that. I can't remember what it's called for the life of me, but it's like you put like a piece of paper into this plastic machine and it kind of seals it in a plastic layer. But that's what they kind of feel like to me, is it kind of feels plasticky, but I think they're cool. Amber Mammoth, 230 going up to 250. If you want to get these super rares, I mean, I don't think it's bad to get these, but I think you're going to get reprints of all these cards and these prices are going to come down. So if you want to, have a holo version, I think they're going to be pretty cheap when they get reprints, and they're potentially going to get ultra rares in the Battles of Legends set later this year. So just keep that in mind. Amethyst Cat, around $1, going up to 270 here for the first edition. That is cool though that they made all of the monsters super rare for the most part in the mega packs or legendary collection too. They're kind of the same. Just so you can have matching rarities. That's really nice. Rainbow Dragon here, 40 cents. I would say this is a good penny stock, but honestly, I don't think there's gonna be enough people playing this deck. And then also the problem is there's so many of these out there, because so many people open Ghosts from the Past too, that just the market's flooded with ultra rares. I mean, you can get like an Aliber for like $4 or $5, which to me is insane, but that's just how flooded the market is. At this point, I got the secret Alibers, but I'm just going to hold my ultra rares because, like, what's the point? Like, I'm not going to sell 3 Alibers for $12. It's just not worth it. Topaz Tiger. Let's see. I think that's mainly everything that I wanted to go over here. But continuing on, I'm going to cover some of the rainbow cards as well, because they kind of fit together. And I don't know that people will play the rainbow cards, but I imagine you would, because, I mean, while they're not good, I mean, what better option do you have for Crystal Beast? Let me know, and let me know if you have some insane Crystal Beast build that you're going on. But the builds I've seen have just been casual at best, and I mean they're kind of fun to play, but if you're playing somebody that has any type of negate or any kind of power level in their deck, you're just going to get blown out. Rainbow Dragon, 204 for lightly played unlimited. That's pretty good. I do want to click in here and look actually, because this is a card that I really, really like. Just unfortunate, it's just so expensive, but it's pretty stable. If you look over the last year, it stayed in between like 450, and now it's kind of at a low point back. Well, it's same, it's 450, but it did hit up to 620 at one point for the first edition. Light play 204, like I said, near mint 280, and then light play first edition 400. And then what are the near mints going for? 600. Okay, so the market price is not really correct then, because it's saying the first edition is going for 450, which is not true. Interesting enough though, a light play did sell for 300 and 320 here, which is not a bad deal considering now it's 400 plus for any first edition. But honestly, if I was going to get one, I would probably just go for risk it for the light play first edition. I think unlims are fine too. There's just not that many here, so once they're gone, they're gone. They're not coming back. But let's go back and let's take a look at some of the other cards. I'd like to see one of these in person. I haven't actually seen them in person, and this probably isn't a very good picture of it, but I can kind of imagine what it would look like. So next is Rainbow Neos, Ghost Rare from Phantom Darkness. I do have this card as an unlim. It is lightly played, but it's a really good lightly played considering how old this card is. Like, it just has a little bit of whitening on one corner, but I'm really happy with it. And there's only 34 listings of this card. This card is just waiting to be, disappear off. I wouldn't say bought out, but to disappear off the market because there's not a lot here. This card's really insane when it can be properly utilized. The problem is now we don't have Verte Anaconda. So you could play 3 Neos Fusion. I don't even know if that's even an option. I don't know if there's any restrictions on that card that you couldn't just, use straight out, but $94 here. It's been roughly the same. I bought mine for 90 for late play unlimited. But then it bottoms out here to 130 for near mint. Up to you if you're wanting to buy this card. Is it worth paying an extra 30? I mean, if it's actually near mint, then probably yes. Bottoming out to 150 here. I think it is starting to move a little bit though, because there was a couple of pages of under 120 bucks when I bought mine. First edition here is lightly played for 250. I think that's really good, honestly, for this card. I would rather have a first edition of this card than the Dark Rainbow Dragon, or I think it's actually just Rainbow Dragon. Let's see what near mint's going for. Only one for 500. So yeah, just get a light play first edition if you want to get a first edition. Not worth spending 500. There's only one listing, so you might want to check eBay if that's what you're wanting to do. But I think 250, half the price for lightly played, definitely worth it. But yeah, for $94 for a lightly played unlimited, you just can't beat that, really. I'm a big fan of having the first edition stamp, but my choices here where I either don't have the card or I get an unlim version. So I picked the unlim version. All right. I hate when I scroll through pages and then when you try to backtrack out to the search page that I have, you have to go up and down through the pages, if that makes sense. They need to have like a back to search button because this is ridiculous. Okay, I don't think we're going to click on any more cards like that because it's just not worth doing for time's sake. Ancient City, 55 for unlim. Honestly, not too bad here, but I just would rather spend my money somewhere else. And that's just because I'm more of like a competitive collector. I would consider Rainbow Neos kind of at that line. Like it could be competitive, and it has seen play before in like Adamantipator. But that was when Verte was around. So now not so much, but I don't know. Rainbow Neos is just sick. But not bad if you wanted a light play. I think the near mint first editions are probably pushing over 100. Okay, secret rare from Phantom Darkness for the Rainbow Neos, starting at 62 for light play unlimited. So yeah, I would stay away from this and just spend the extra 30, get your ghost rare if you're going to go unlimited. I am just curious. Let's just click in here and see what a first edition is going for, because this seems really high to me. Lightly played is 70, so actually that's not terrible. But yeah, don't get an unlim if you could just get, pay $8 more and get a first edition. 80 for near mint unlimited, and we're not going to look at near mints, but that's spiked in price because I think the unlims were going for like 35. Actually, I'm going to click in there one more time. Sorry to do this to you. I just want to see what the market price trend has been. I guess Okay, so it's been around the same price, maybe up a little bit. Yeah, these haven't really been moving. Near mint sold here for 100, so that's probably where it's at still. Rainbow Dragon, $42. No, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's not bought out or anything. I doubt that this card's bought out, but that just seems really high for what you're getting. I don't think it's bad necessarily, but I mean, for unlimited secret rare, it would be hard for me to want to get that. Rainbow Dark Dragon, 40. Same story. Both cool to have, but there's just other versions that you can get that look good as well, that are less expensive. Case in point, the secret rare Rainbow Dragon from the collector's tin. This doesn't have another secret rare, I'm pretty sure. So if you wanted a secret rare version of this card, this is probably going to be your second cheapest one, or the next best option, besides getting the original print. This is the one I currently have, and I think it looks great. I think it did just get a common reprint in the Battle City box, but I mean, it's a common, so who cares? But 11 bucks here. I think near mints are towards 14 or 15, maybe 18. Rainbow Ruin Starfoil Tournament Prize Pack, $19. I mean, there's only 8 listings here, but I would stay. I just hate Starfoil, so I just can't really comment on whether I think that's a good buy because I just hate that card. So of course I'm going to say no. Rainbow Bridge, $12. I talked about this when it was much, much cheaper. There's only 10 listings here. This and Crystal Bond, I said to get them a couple months back because I knew that the structure deck was going to be coming out. And yeah, if you look back here, when I mentioned it, it was around $6-7. Looks like a light play did just sell for 480. That's crazy. So lowest listing 12 and then going to 15 for near mint here. Probably going to stay around that price. It's just really bought out right now. Maybe it could inch towards 18 or 20, but I don't know. It wouldn't be worth buying at this point for sure. Okay, we can move on. Rainbow Neo 670 for super rare. That's not really that bad. There's not really, other than you have your, sorry, I'm blanking here. The secret rare, which is like 60, and then your next best version is going to be the super rare. So for 670, maybe get the first edition for like 10-12 bucks. That's not bad at all. Rainbow Dragon Ultra Rare. So this one's $5 or $6 for Unlim. I mean, secret rare, not secret. The first edition is probably going to be up towards 8 or 10. I would just go get the secret rare from the collector's tin. But if you like ultra rares, Legendary Collection 2 is quite old, so not bad. Rainbow Life Rare from Phantom Darkness, $3. This looks like it's a holo to me for whatever reason, but I know it's not. It's rare. But crazy to see that so high in price. Rainbow Overdragon, $6. Holy cow. I need to see what the reprints are worth because I do have a couple of the reprint ultra rares. I think they're colored ultra rares, but still not worth it. I would sell these if you have them. That's just not worth it. Weather Painter, I don't care about any of that stuff. Okay, reprint Rainbow Bridge Blue is $240. That's not bad. That's just going to be where it's probably going to hover between 2 and 3. I wouldn't invest in these cards at this point now. The time was back when I mentioned them, like in March or April. But yeah, greens, $250, same price really. Purples around the same price. So we're going to move on. I wanted to look at Crystal Bond green because the ultra rare for a light play first edition is now $29. And then the near mints are going to be around 35. But if you wanted to get this card, for whatever reason, when you just type in Crystal Bond, it's only going to pull up the original print because these are only come in colored ultra rares. So if you wanted to build this deck and you didn't want to spend a ton of money like getting the original print, which is going to be really insane now, that card was like 10-12 so I mentioned it to get it. But yeah, now it's too late. I would sell them if you pick them up when I mentioned them. But if you just wanted to build the deck, these are $4, for the green version, which I think is probably the best looking one out of the blue and purple. Blue probably, actually, I don't even know if it does come in blue. I can't remember. I know it's green, purple, and maybe red or blue, but I think green looks the best for spell cards. Okay, so now I wanted to take a look at Eternity Code. Haven't looked at the set in a while, and I just kind of wanted to see what things are moving. Crazy enough, area is almost $1,000 now, which is just insane, but it was expected. I think it was around 650 to 700, so it's it's up a couple $100. If you were thinking that you wanted to sell them, probably not a terrible time to, but at the same time, I don't think they're going to go down from this point. If they do, it would be like maybe going down to like 825, 850. People just really like these cards. And they do look nice. I am personally not a collector of these. I'm happy with just having a holo version of all these cards. But if you are a collector, I understand. Effect failures, they're like $900. Just go get the ultimate rare. It's not worth getting the Starlight rare. Chamber Dragon Maid, 400. I mean, That's kind of where I expected it to be. I wouldn't be buying this card per se, but it is low on listings. All of these Starlight rares from Eternity Code are really low on listings. Ghost Mourner, I actually think that this is a good pickup, even though this is up. I mean, I mentioned it when it was like 250 and maybe 250 to 275, and I thought that that was like way undervalued, but it has been steadily going up in price. You know, it's 400 for near mint now, and so if you bought them at 250, 275, you did pretty good. I think there was even like a PSA 9 available for like 350 when I was looking at them, but bottoms out to 500 here. So if you wanted to get them, they're not going to get cheaper probably. If they do, it'll be a very short time, but I think they're just going to slowly move up. They don't sell very often. So it's not like a huge buyout or anything. It probably only took like selling 5 or 6 copies, but it's going to continue to go up over time. I would stay away from Alumeris. It's just not worth it. Access Code Talker, $100, not bad. It's going to be there for a while until it gets another high rarity printing. I honestly thought if they would have done this as an ultimate rare in this OTS pack, that would have been a really good choice. I think the secret rare will always hold pretty good value no matter what. But if we got an ultimate rare, this would probably go down to like 65, $70, and the ultimate rare would hold pretty good value. Chambers at like 28, that's not, or 28 to 30. That's not too bad either. Let me get rid of that. I don't know what that is. Honestly, Dragon Maids, like secret rare Dragon Maids especially, they just hold value, and whenever one of the high value cards gets reprinted, everything else goes up, including the secret rares. I believe this only has 1 reprint right now. And this is probably one of the best Dragon Maids to own because it does see play in Dragon Link, and that might not be the case in the future, but it is right now. So Chambers going for 11 on the reprint. That's been going up pretty steadily because I think those were down towards 7 or 8. They never were like cheap, like $3 or $4, but they, have always been around the $10 range. All right, I'm going to start going fast over some of these cards that I don't really want to look at too much because there's a few cards I really wanted to point out. Ghost Warner, of course, at $16 here, absolute steal in my opinion. It it's still got a market price of 20. It's just that these aren't really selling right now because it hasn't seen as much play since Based has kind of phased out, with the ban list. But I think this card has a lot of potential down line. And I mean, it's a secret rare Ghost Girl, so that's really all I need to know as well. And one of my favorite looking secret, Ghost Girls. Salon 17 needs a reprint. That's all I have to say on that one. Gearsu's back down. So if you notice, it wasn't long ago that these got bought out to like 25 to $30. $12 is probably where it's going to hold out. So if you want these, I would go grab them. I mean, also the ultra rare is not a bad option either, but these secret rares look really, really good. Animador and Archosaur, I think that this is a good pickup if you can get them for like $8, $9. They're kind of hard to find. Not a lot of people have them. Whenever I go to locals, or I haven't been in a while, but I would always look to see if anybody had these in their trade binder after they kind of dip below $10, and people either don't want to get rid of them or they just don't have them. And well, partially because it's Eternity Code, but this is a great card to have for the future. It does have an ultra rare reprint that's worth like $2 or $3, but the secret rare looks really good. That's the version you want to get. In fact, I'll probably come pick some of these up. Emblem of the Plunder Patrol. I don't know if this got a reprint or not, but Plunder's kind of one of those sleeper decks. Like, it's a really good rogue deck, maybe even tier 2 deck. It just doesn't see that much representation, but the right support, this deck could really take off. Okay, so this is the first card that I wanted to take a serious look at, is Gravedigger's Trap Hole, because this card is insane. It's just really slow, so it needs to be the right format, or you need to be playing Trap Tricks, because this card's insane at Trap Tricks. Like, you're easily burning your opponent for like 4,000 damage, in a game, because if you get off 2 of these, which usually you probably would, depending on what the format is, like what decks are going around. But this card I mentioned, I think when it was like $5. I think it went lower than $5, but I think I mentioned it at like $5 or so. And right now there's a couple of light plays here for $5, but it does bottom out here to $6. and there's just not a lot of copies here. So it is like kind of inching up. It's not going up by a crazy amount per se, but it's definitely trending up, and it probably will continue to trend up slowly over a longer period of time. It's not going to spike like crazy anytime soon, um, but it could honestly as well, because we are getting a Trap Tricks Sarah reprint, which is like the most expensive card in Trap Tricks. I think it was like $30, but we'll probably check that out at the end too, because I am curious to see where those are. Because I sold all of mine when they were like 30, because I just decided, that I can wait to play that deck. It's not a deck that I play very often. So, and that's kind of the case with all my decks. If there's a card that spikes up in one of my decks, I just get rid of it and I'll get it when it gets a reprint, especially if I'm not playing it. But definitely keep your eye on this. It does have an ultra rare reprint that's like $1. So also good to have, but the secret rare, is going to be your best version, especially since it's from an Eternity Code and it just looks really good. And before the reprint, these had gone up to like $35. It's not actually bad. $5 for a booster pack. I mean, they're going to be mapped probably. Actually, I don't know, because every pack has a super rare, so I don't think you really can. But that's not too bad. I wouldn't open these packs, but if you wanted to have one for your collection, it wouldn't be a bad deal. Great Bubble Reef. We'll take a look at this because I bet this is towards $5. It does have a reprint, but I think it's just a common. Around $2.50. It's not too bad. I wouldn't expect it to go up from here. In fact, if you have extra ones, you might want to consider selling some off. Lady of Lament here, ultra rare. I think this is the sneak peek version. Yeah, sneak peek. Honestly, for $4 or $5, $4 for late play here. Yeah, I would definitely consider having a couple of these around, just because it's a card that could definitely see some spikes in the future. And in any case, like the promo cards for like core booster sets are just not printed very heavily and very hard to get. Like every locals I've been to, they either just don't hand them out from what I've seen, like they'll just keep them, which is not a good thing to do, or like they'll only have like 2 of them for like the entire locals, so they have to either give it to you as like a prize for like doing well in the tournament, or and one locals I went to, they did like, if you have a quarter with the year 1962 in your pocket, like bring it up and you get the card, and then they just kept going with different years until someone had one. So it's not like everybody going to sneak peek is getting one. I need to add that to my card list to like watch. Definitely has some potential. Let's see. List $4, has an ultra rare reprint, but secret rares do look nice. The Shadows, I think this card is great as well. I don't think this card has a reprint. If it does, it's maybe a common. It does not have a reprint. I'm not going to read the effect on here, but just go read it. It's a really good card, actually. And who knows, we're going to get a reprint. It could be one of those cards that Konami just kind of forgets about for a long time, if not forever. Union Driver at $2 here, then going to $3. Not too bad. It only has a rare reprint from the 10s. But it's seeing play maybe in ABCs, but I'm not sure how that deck's doing now. It was doing okay for a while, like getting some tops. Deep Sea Aria at $3 is insane. This card is absolutely insane. Being able to add your Deep Sea Diva to hand. I don't think people will play this in Splite. Let me just make sure you don't have to like discard a water card. Banish one water monster from your graveyard. Okay, so yeah, you can't use it with Splite because you would need to have water monster in your graveyard. But this card's insane. The artwork looks really good. It does have a super rare reprint, which is worth pennies. I'm actually curious to see what that's going for, because I do have a bunch of those as well. 10 cents, not bad, but get the secret rare. It's one of the coolest looking secret rares, printed in 2020, maybe the last couple of years. The colors just look really good. I really like when they have blue, purple, and pink. For whatever reason, it just really pops. I don't want to look through every single card, but I'm going to see if there's anything else I wanted to look at. Okay, Croco Dragon, really good for $1.50. It only has a common reprint in the 10s, I would definitely consider getting this card. It's a really, really good synchro card, and there's really not a lot of amazing rank 9 synchros, but this is one of them for sure. And then there's one more card I wanted to go over. Just need to find it really quick. Link Cross, I'm not going to talk about this too long, but just make sure you have yours. Titanicider, really good as well. I guess there are a couple more. I won't say really good. It's decent. It does have a super rare reprint from the 10s, but it's a really good looking secret rare. And for slower format, this card's really, really good. So just check it out and see what you think. You know, up to you if you want to pick it up. Gizmek Uka as well, something that I have a play set of. I probably would like to have more though for $1.50. This card was traditionally more around, I want to say $7 to $8, $5 to $8 on release. And for a little while, this card did see play, and I actually played this in a synchro build because I was playing Halka Fibrax. I was playing 3 copies of this because if you had this in your hand, it was just free special summon. And then on your opponent's turn too, if you just happen to be going second, you can burn them for damage if they're spamming a lot of monsters on field, especially like Dragon Link was running around then. And so I was just burning them for quite a bit of damage by having this on the field. Heavy Ford is okay as well. It does have a super rare reprint, but there's one more card I want to talk about, and then we'll move on from this set. Where is it at? Deep Sea Prima Donna. So this card's around $1 as well, for near mint. And then for any like water synchro archetypes, this card is insane. And even maybe in the future, we could see a deck that could maybe not even be playing water, but can utilize this card. But I am going to read this card because it's insane, and it only has a common reprint from the 10s. Don't care about that, but it says you can target one of your opponent's banished cards, add to your hand or special summon one level 4 lower water monster from your deck. And if you do, add that target to their hand. And then if this card is into the graveyard, you can target one banished card, shuffle it into the deck. That's pretty good because you can actually shuffle back your Needle Fiber if you banished it. And you could actually summon this off Needle Fiber if you wanted to. There's definitely better options. I wouldn't do that, but the reason I like this card for the deck that I played it in, which now is not nearly as good because you really needed a Auroradon. It was a water synchro deck built around your Sarctic and Atlantean, as well as Deep Sea. But your Deep Sea cards, they're going to banish cards out of your opponent's hand. And so you're guaranteed, if you're playing that engine, you're guaranteed to have a banished card in your opponent's graveyard. And what's cool is like basically when you were using this effect to special summon, it was kind of already at the end of your turn, and you already have a negate on board, which is Warlord Savage. So you could take out like a Nibiru, make your Savage Dragon, and then give the Nibiru back, and then it's useless to them. So really, really good. And then getting that free special summon from the deck is just really, really good as well. And the cool thing is it doesn't even negate that target, so you could special summon a Deep Sea monster and its effects are live, which is really good. Okay, moving on to Ignition Assault. Just a couple of cards I wanted to talk about in here. So Lightning Storm is still really cheap. Not cheap. Someone tore me up for saying that a $60 card was cheap in one of the last watches. And when I say cheap, I mean relatively for like what I think it could be, or what it's been in the past. So I don't think I'm just some rich guy that's saying $60 is cheap. It's not. It's definitely still expensive, but relatively, when I'm saying cheap, I mean it has a higher price potential in the future, or it's had a higher price target in the past. Moving on, Oz's we already covered, still in the 400 range, 450 range. Let's see. Okay, so Time Thief Perpetua. I noticed that this card has been going down for a very long time. There's not a lot of listings for this card, and then, as you know, this set is over 2 years old now, which is crazy to think, because I remember it like yesterday. But $80 here, pretty solid. Bottoms out to 83, but like I said, there's only 27 listings. And if you look at the last year, it went from around 190, all the way down to 78. You might not want to pick this card up right now, but I would keep an eye on it. If it goes to like 55, I would definitely consider getting it. It's an okay card. Like it is pretty good if you're playing Time Thief, but other than Time Thief, it's not great. But maybe there's some other uses for it because you do get to like attach a Time Thief card from your deck. And that's a generic effect because you just have to target one other Xyz monster. So I don't know if there's some Time Thief cards that you can get graveyard effects. I'm sure there probably is something, but it's just not really played anything, and Time Thief is not like a great deck right now. But Time Thief honestly has potential. It would just need a lot of really good support, and I just don't see that coming anytime soon. They do like time to time put out some decent support, but it's like one card at a time. It's just not like a very great cohesive strategy, but really cheap for what it is. And if that's something that you wanted and didn't know it had gone this low, just something to keep your eye on. If it goes to 55, I'll pick one up because I do like the artwork and think that it's a cool card. And Ignition Assault, while it's not a great set, it's a really nostalgic set for me because it was a time when I started really getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I had been in it, I guess this set came out in 2020, but I was getting back in 2019. But this was like the first set that I was opening up a lot of product, because I was getting into playing competitively, and I was looking for Lightning Storms, and I was wanting to play at Ignister. So I don't know. I just really like this set in terms of nostalgia. Lightning Storm, $71 here. Wait for the reprint. Plunder, all the plunder stuff is down in price except for Captain, but it'll probably stick around this price unless they like actually start doing well in competition. I think Plunder is actually a really good local stack. You can just go there and have fun with it, and it's really cheap. All these original ultra rares are really cheap. But this is the card I wanted to point out to you guys is Bururu out of Ignister. It's $6 now, which this card recently has been around $3 to $5. But it's a solo print and it hasn't had a reprint, and who knows when they're going to reprint this card. I just don't really see where they would do that. But regardless, $6 is your lowest tier, and then your first wall is $7, for 4, and there's a big wall here for 16. I mean, theoretically, you could just buy all 16 of these and flip them, because that $4 over 16 copies is basically nothing for that $4 shipping. You might want to do that, who knows, but I'm surprised no one's done that already. But we can look at the sales history, and a lot of these are selling every day. There's just really not a lot of listings here, and I do have a playset or so of these. I know I have 2 that are in my deck core that I have put together, but there's probably more in my bulk bin because I opened a lot of this set. But I think they're mostly going to be unlimited, but it doesn't really matter based on the price here. But I opened mainly the special editions because I was kind of not really going to locals at that point. I didn't know where you could buy booster boxes. I was still kind of in the phase of only buying products from Walmart, and from that standpoint, the special editions were just the better deal. But I'm glad I didn't buy boxes at Ignition Assault because it just wasn't a very good set. I knew about TCG Player at that point, but to me, I thought that it would maybe be easier from a statistical standpoint to pull Lightning Storm than it would be to cough up the $120 a piece. Because I was thinking, well, there's only so many secret rares, and you get this many secret rares per set or box. But that's back when short prints were in full swing. Wow, Masterful Sun Moo is $10. I guess it hasn't got a reprint, but that is crazy. So that's definitely kind of been bought out a little bit here. If you look over the course of I remember this card was like $1. When this card came out, it was like maybe $2, and there was a point where it was only like $1.50 or something. And then it was seeing a little bit of play with Tri-Brigade. And maybe that's the case now again, but these are up to $10, bottoming out here to 12. And these are selling, but not selling too quickly here. I mean, the last sold was lightly played for $6.50. There's just not a lot of these available. I mean, this set's just getting older now. All right, I need to get moving along because this is turning into a lot longer market watch than I was hoping for here. I don't want to get you guys bored. Ignistrey Island, $5-6. It's a great looking secret rare. Definitely my favorite looking secret rare. No, Lightning Storm is from this set, but this would be second for me from this set. But it just looks really, really good. And I'd like to get mine again. I did have these secret rares. So I bought them when they're like 10, but I sold them when they went up to like $25 or whatever, when there was a lot of hype around at Ignister before the reprints came out. But it's just a really good looking secret rare. And Ignisters are honestly really, really good and super, super fun. I need to break that deck back out because I just love at Ignister. I'm a huge fan. Picari down to 40 listings here. I've talked about these, a few times, but I think it's a really good idea to have the secret rare first editions of the at Ignisters because it doesn't take much support for this deck to really take off. It's just an insane deck, really. But you can get them for $3.69 here, and he's got 2 available, but then it goes to $5 pretty quickly, and then where you bought him out here to like $6 for a first edition. Which I think is where it should be. I think this card should be like a $7 to $9 card. And then, as time goes on, it should be worth more. But not a bad deal. Like I said, there's reprints of this and of Picari and the what's the other, Achichi, and they're like 25 to 50 cents each. So if you just want to pick up, the base core, you can get it for like $20 probably if you go with the Mega 10 reprints. Besides Brewer, that's going to be like the most expensive card. Let's see, max rarity, you could probably build the core for like, I guess like probably $45-50 at this point. The core, I'm not talking about like your extra deck because you need access code and stuff like that. But okay, let's look at a Chi-Chi because I think this one is also starting to go up. You're down to 34 listings, $3 here for 2. Same seller if you want to go pick those up. I think that's a great deal. You get, I think he had 2 of the other one and 2 of these, so I think that comes out to about $12 for 2 of each. I think that's a really good deal. But this goes up to 4 and then bottoms out towards 5 here. Again, these cards look really, really good. I'm a big fan of the artwork, and the foiling was just really good in this set. I will say, like, the foiling has gone really downhill recently. Like, Dimension Force is just, the foiling is just trash. I would feel really bad spending like $60 on, what is that card? The Therion monster, just because the quality is terrible on the new secret rares, but specifically the ultra rares too. But the whole card feels cheap. Ignition Assault ultra rares and secret rares were legit. Like, they had really good quality. All right, is there anything else I want to go over? Pascalis, I don't think this has a reprint, but that's, it's up towards $5-6. Linguribo, this does have a super rare, but you might want to keep your eye on this card. It's really good. It's a trap negate. I do have a copy personally. I would just keep your eye on this card. And that's it. We're just going to cap it off there for Ignition Assault. And then Totally Awesome will move through quickly, but it's continued to push up in price. I told you to get the light play Mega 10s for $28. And then way before that, I told you to get them when they were like 18, but they're up to 40. So if you got them, recently for like the 28-30 range, you did good. And then the first edition Vengeance are 50 or 48 for light play. Not terrible, but then 55 for near mint. And unfortunately, it's probably going to go up towards like $70 by the time we get Splight, if not more. Rares, $22. That's awful. I mean, at this point, I would still just rather get the Mega Pack version, but I'd understand, like, if you're going to play 2 copies of Toad, I don't think you would. You're probably going to play 1, but if you are going to play 2 copies, you can get 2 of these for the price of 1 of these. But honestly, I'm too big of a snob to play a rare. Spell Striker World Championship 2007. So I covered this card back when PK was coming into the format and it was going to be, the dominant strategy. I think So this is World Championship. It's a World Championship promo, but I believe it's the Game Boy game or one of the Game Boy game promos. But these super rares look really, really good if you haven't seen them. And they're really cheap. $2 here for late play, going up to $2.30 for near mint. And these had floated up towards like 4 or 5, back when PK was starting to do good. So if you look back towards the end of the year, they were up towards $8. But I think for $2 or $3, you just can't beat this card. And it just looks super clean. If you don't know what the effect is, you just remove one spell card from play from your graveyard, and you can special summon this card. So it's a level 3 extender. Okay, sorry. So the other effect is not necessary. Like, it doesn't do anything. It says this card can attack your opponent's life points directly. But it's like 600 damage, so you don't really care. But if someone were to attack this in an attack position, you would take 0 damage, even though it would be destroyed, but who cares? Just to get a free special summon by banishing a spell card. And if you're playing Phantom Knights, you're probably going to have a spell card in your graveyard, whether that's Forbidden Droplets or Emergency Teleport, or really most likely is going to be Rite of Air Seer. Something to keep your eye on, just a good penny stock. Next is Microcoder from the video game promos. It's going for like $4.50 to $5 now. If you do remember, like after this game came out, I don't know if it was right after because I got the game, but I'm not sure when the game came out. But when I got it, it didn't have a reprint. So it was back before Toon Chaos. And these were $25. And I think they had even gone up to 30 at one point. And I did sell mine, but I keep meaning to pick these back up. And then I always forget. It's kind of just not on my radar really. But I think this is a great card to pick up for $5. You can get the super rares, and you can get like the first edition super rares for like 75 cents. It's not bad. Maybe it could become a $2 card over a long period of time. Don't get me wrong, Toon Chaos first edition is a hard box to get. It was during COVID, so they didn't really print that many of them. And I think on release, it was like $100. So, super rares aren't bad. There's probably not a ton out there existing, but ultra rare is so much better for the $4 or $5 you're going to be paying. Okay, and then last, someone mentioned, I think it was Ashwin mentioned that the ultra rare Zeus went up in price. So I wanted to look at it, but when I was looking, I noticed that it hadn't really gone up in price. The market price is $15, and it's really just $13 here for near mint, and there's a stack here. So I think it's been around the same price. Again, if you're looking to pick up Zeus, and I talk about this all the time, I would skip the ultra rare, just get the secret rare. Not that the ultra rare is bad, but it's not going to really go up in price anytime soon unless this card gets a buyout. But there's so many good versions to get. I would stay away from it. Secret rare, pretty good. That's the version I have. But for double that price, you can get a ultimate rare for $41. And this is insane to me that this card is $41. This is like probably the best Xyz monster we have in the game currently. Of course, there are some banned ones that are really good as well, like Azathoth, but just a really strong card. Being able to board wipe, non-targeting, non-destruction, it's just crazy. Starlight rare, $3.30. Again, that's not bad, but a lot of people probably aren't going to go for that. It's just so expensive. I mean, the ultimate rare to me is like the best buy at this point. It's just so cheap. But oh yeah, what was the card we were going to look at towards the end? I cannot remember for the life of me now. Anyways, I'm not going to remember. There's no way I'm going to remember. So let me know in the comment section. I'll probably go back and look, and then I'll just take note, and we'll look at it next time. But thanks for watching, guys. I will see you probably sometime maybe tomorrow or maybe sometime this weekend. I'm not sure yet, but you guys have a good night. Bye.